Hey guys, welcome to my Twin Furies solo guide for 2021. In this guide, I will be going over the Twin Furies and showing you guys how you can kill them efficiently with melee. They are a God Wars Dungeon 2 boss, and they are one of the easier ones, so it shouldn't be too difficult for you guys to get the hang of it. I will be going over the requirements and recommendations, the gear setups, some useful perks, and then I will also break down the exact mechanics within the boss fight. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoy. So starting off with the requirements and recommendations. So required is 80 range. You need this to enter the boss fight. Also, a halberd type melee weapon is highly recommended since it will allow you to hit both of the Twin Furies at the same time, since there's actually two bosses within the boss fight. Recommended is tier 70 plus melee armor. I will be showing you guys two different setups. One is a high-end setup and one is a budget setup where I do use Bandos armor, which is tier 70. A tier 85 plus weapon would be preferable. You can also use tier 80, but try to have a higher tier weapon since you will be dealing more damage with that. 85 plus melee stats is also recommended if you want to kill them quite efficiently. Overloads and curses, of course, are super useful, but they aren't necessary. They will certainly help a ton and increase the amount of kills per hour, but you can kill them quite easily without them. And also, useful auras are super helpful. The Berserker aura is the best, followed by the Brawler aura. Also, auras like the Vampirism aura and the Dark Magic aura would be a pretty good option as well. So in terms of the gear setups, I do have two different options, and I will show you guys how I killed them in both of these setups. So first off, the budget setup, we're using the Masuda's War Spear, which is a tier 82 halberd ranged weapon. So it is a spear, but it does have that halberd range. So that's why it is super useful. This weapon is only 5 mil, so it really is a budget weapon for you guys to use. I also have full bandos, which is super cheap. I'm also using the Blood Fury necklace, another pretty cheap option. One of the most expensive items is the Cinderbane gloves, which could be swapped for an alternative, but it is really helpful since the Twin Furies can be poisoned, but those do cost right around 100 mil. As for the high level setup, I am using the Noxious Scythe. This costs over 200 mil and it is a tier 90 two-hand weapon with that halberd range. I'm also using full Masterwork armor. Is also all perked out as well, which will provide me some extra DPS. The Amulet of Souls is really helpful if you do have Soul Split, since you will be able to heal a little bit extra from that. And then also, as I mentioned, the Cinderbane gloves are really awesome here. As you can see for both setups, I am using the Berserker aura. However, some auras like the Brawler aura, Vampirism aura, Dark Magic aura, these all would work as well, but Berserker is the best if you're looking to get fastest kill times. Now, looking at the basic perks that you will want to at least have, as you can see for the main hand, if you can get Precise 6, it will increase your DPS by about 7.5%. That is if you have Precise 6, and it only costs just under 2 mil, so it is a pretty cheap perk to get, and that 7.5% damage is definitely worth it. For the secondary perk on your two-handed weapon, you will want Equilibrium 4 for a budget. It only costs about 700k to obtain, and this will give you about a 5% extra damage increase if you do have Equilibrium 4. For the body, if you have Crackling 4 and Relentless 5, this is a really good combo as well. Crackling will just deal some periodic damage, so it will increase your DPS, whereas Relentless gives you a chance to prevent adrenaline from being used, and this is really useful with Twin Furies since you will want to be using some AoE abilities within the fight. So if you do get the Relentless to actually activate once or twice, it will make your kill much faster. For the legs, there are a few other perks here that I do have. Absorbative 4, it's a super cheap perk, so if you don't have a perk and you want to get a cheap one, this one would work. It will basically just make it so you will take less damage. Also, Impatient is another perk that you would want. Mobile and Venom Blood, they are quite cheap, but they won't really be effective for you for Twin Furies. And so instead of using Mobile and Venom Blood, you might want to Try and get a perk with Impatient. As you can see in the advanced perks, if you get Impatient 4 and Mobile, this will be super helpful. It does cost about 10 mil to get this, so it is a bit more expensive, but it will definitely be worth it. For the advanced perks, basically, we're just adding on a few others which are more expensive. As you guys saw, the basic perks, they cost right around 6 mil, where these advanced perks cost around 165 mil. So they are quite more expensive, but they will increase your DPS by even more. So the Twin Furies fight has basically 3 different phases. Phase 1 is the wall charge. So for this phase, you will want to attack the red Twin Fury, which is Nymora, where Avaris is basically going to be bouncing off the walls and charging towards you. If he does hit you, he will be dragging you towards the end of the wall, and you will take a significant amount of damage. As you guys can see, it is really easy to dodge. You just want to step aside before Avaris's wall charge does reach you. So she will be using the wall charge 4 times, and then you will move into the next phase. Before the next phase does start, they will do a few auto attacks, and this is a great time to use your AoE abilities. So you can see when Avaris stops the wall charge, she'll come near you, and they'll both become within melee distance. This is when you can use abilities like Quake and Hurricane, and this is where you will be able to deal double the damage in the boss fight. Now, phase 2 is the ceiling collapse mechanic. This will happen after a few auto attacks once you get past the wall charge mechanic. So for this, you will want to use the ability Slaughter on Nymora before she does jump into the air. So I'll just put this in slow motion for you guys. So as you can see, there will be a few auto attacks before this next phase starts. You can use Quake and then Hurricane, but then following that you will want to use Slaughter on Nymora. Slaughter is a bleed ability, but it will deal extra damage if the target is moving. Now when Nymora is in the air using the ceiling collapse mechanic, she is technically moving, so you will actually get some extra bleed damage from this, which is why Slaughter is the perfect ability to use before this mechanic starts. In terms of dealing with the actual mechanic, as you can see, there will be rocks falling from the arena. The way to avoid this is just stand under where Nymora raised to the ceiling, and there won't be any rocks falling in that area. So just stay in that area until this phase is over, and then you'll be on to the third phase. So once you get past phase 2, you will have a few auto attacks that both of the Twin Furies will do, and then you'll move into this third phase, which is the channeled bomb phase. Now in this phase, a ring of fire will appear in the outer area of the arena, and you will deal 2,500 damage every few ticks to you if you are in it. Basically, you will want to stay in the middle of the arena and hit both of the Twin Furies. This is when you will want to use all your AoE abilities. Now, what I found to be the most useful is using an ability like Quake, and then you can follow it up by using Berserk, which will allow you to deal double the damage. And then you can finish them off with using Hurricane. If you don't want to do this, you can use Quake and Hurricane, and then when you do reach 100% Adrenaline, you can use the ability Meteor Strike. This is an AoE ultimate ability, meaning you will hit about 10 to 12k on both of the Twin Furies when you do use it. Now, if your damage isn't high enough so you don't actually finish the fight within this phase, you'll see that the blue bar slowly dwindles. Before it reaches the end, you will want to surge out of the way into that fiery area so you won't take any damage. If you do stay in the middle when the bomb does go off, it will deal 4,500 typeless damage to the player, so you will want to avoid this. Now, these bosses aren't too difficult to fight. As I showed you guys in the beginning of the video, I did show you that budget setup where I am using the tier 82 Masuda's War Spear. This weapon had no problem dealing with the Twin Furies, and my kill times were actually quite similar to when I was using my Masterwork and Noxious Scythe. Of course, it was a bit slower, but I was able to kill the Twin Furies within the 1 cycle. So that basically means that before that channel bomb went off, I was able to finish the fight. Now, if you aren't able to finish it before that last phase ends, basically all the phases will be repeating and you'll just go through them over and over again. But anyway, guys, I really hope you found this video helpful. That is all you need to know about the Twin Furies, and you will be able to master this boss with this guide. Anyway, guys, thank you. If you guys have any questions about anything I mentioned in this video, let me know in the comments down below. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace.